So milestone 2 is going to be saving up your first $100,000. Now, this is the hardest overall for most people because this is a slog and this is a grind. And it is very difficult to get to your first $100,000 because you are saving so much. All of it is your savings rate. All of it has to do with you. All of it has to do with the amount of money that you're earning. You're getting up every single day. You're driving through traffic to work. You're listening to your boss all day. You're driving home just to get enough money to save a few hundred or a few $1,000s towards your investment account. And so this is why it's so hard, because your first 100K has all to do with your savings. Charlie Munger, who is Warren Buffett's business partner, is very famous for saying your first 100K is a grind. And there is math that explains why. So let me say this, for example. So saving $500 a month at 10% returns takes roughly 10 to 11 years to hit your first 100K. Saving $1,000 a month at 10% returns takes roughly 6 to 7 years to hit your first 100K. And saving $2,000 a month at 10% rate of return takes roughly 4 to 5 years. Now use our tool. You can actually use our calculator that we just talked about. If you go to mastermoney.co/resources, it'll show you exactly how long it'll take based on your situation and where you are starting. But your savings rate is the biggest variable here. A 10% return on $20,000 is only $2,000. And so you need to realize that you need to save your way to your first 100K. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. You need to save your way to your first 100K. You cannot out-invest a low savings rate. It's just going to take you way longer if you do have a low savings rate. And so we need to figure out, well, how do we increase our savings rate? It's, again, income and cutting back, which is why we talked about the marker at $50,000. You really need to focus on increasing your income, building those skills that are going to help you increase your income so that you can get to that point in time. Now, what do you need to focus on to get to your first 100K and at this milestone once you cross this milestone? Well, first, now that you've crossed the milestone, we need to make sure that we are maximizing tax advantage accounts. So the Roth IRA, the 401k, any of those are really, really important, and especially the HSA if you're eligible. Also, we want to aggressively grow our income through skills. We want to do it through career moves, maybe some side businesses, but we want to focus on growing that income so that we can really get to the next milestone, which is going to be a big, big difference. You also want to protect this savings rate at all costs, which is why we build the emergency fund up front, is so that if something happens in life, it doesn't derail your savings rate and throw you off track. No, instead, you have the emergency fund in place to take care of anything that is going to happen in life. And then you just follow the 1-3-6 method. If you haven't heard that episode, we will link it up down below in the show notes. It is a core tenet to what we talk about here on this podcast is the 1-3-6 method. And so you just follow back into frame with the 1-3-6 method. And then you need to also understand what you're investing in. This is the point in time where now it is very important to understand asset allocation. Sure, it's important at the other milestones as well, but now you need to know why you're investing in what you're investing in. Having your investment plan in place is very important, and getting properly invested and making sure you're not sitting with any cash on hand that's supposed to be invested. So getting those dollars in these accounts and then making sure you're buying the index funds and ETFs that make sense, that is exactly what you need to be doing, or whatever else you're going to be investing in. Maybe you're a dividend stock investor. Maybe you're an individual stock investor. It just depends on what floats your boat. I personally am an index fund and ETF investor, and so this is why this is going to change everything. Now, once you cross $100,000, the math begins to flip. And at 10% rate of return, if you have $100,000 invested, well, that's fantastic, because guess what? You're going to make $10,000 in that given year if you got a 10% rate of return. And so that's without you doing anything, which is why the math begins to flip. And so in year 2, all of a sudden you have $110,000 if you didn't add anything else. And this means that you're making that amount of money, but also the contributions that you're putting in is growing this account as well. And you can see how this is going to begin to compound over time, where it could make a really big impact on your bottom line. So now that we've gotten through milestone 2, now we're looking at our first marker, because to get from milestone 2 to milestone 3, there are a few different markers that we want to hit. And this is where a lot of people become unmotivated. And I don't want this to happen to you. Okay. So after the first $100,000, the first marker is $250,000 invested. Now, compounding becomes a genuine contributor here when you hit $250,000 invested. It's not just a footnote or something that's happening in the background. Instead, a 10% return on $250,000 per year is going to end up being $25,000 per year. Now, some of you at this point in time may be saying, well, this guy keeps saying a 10% rate of return. Where is he getting that from? Well, what we're talking about here is the S&P 500. Google S&P 500 historic returns, and you will see that the S&P 500 has returned slightly above 10%. Now, you can adjust down for inflation. That is completely fine. A lot of times what we teach people to do here is to increase your contributions by the rate of inflation of that given previous year so that you can still be investing the same exact buying power. And so let's Google right now as we're talking about this. I'm going to Google the S&P 500 historic returns at the time I'm recording this, just so we can look at exactly what they've been. So this is from 1927 to 2026. Here's the returns of the S&P 500 as of the time recording this in 2026. The 100-year average is 10.42%. The 50-year average is 11.71%. The 30-year average is 10.12%. And the 10-year average is 15.62%. That's since 2016. Absolutely crazy. After inflation, if you adjust that one down, it's 12.02%. And so if you're asking, well, where is he getting that 10% rate of return from? That is where I'm getting it from. Now, if you're planning for your retirement or you're thinking through this when it comes to your retirement, I actually like to even be more conservative than that. You can use an 8% rate of return, 7% rate of return if you want to be really safe. You can use a 9% rate of return, but getting more conservative when it comes to retirement planning is very helpful for most people. So this marker at $250,000 means you're making $25,000 per year at a 10% rate of return, and you are now earning what many people earn from their job just from your investments, or at least a big chunk of what people earn from their job just from your investments at that 10% rate of return. And so you want to, during this time frame, continue growing your income, but do not ignore your investment strategy. It's very important to make sure you're continuing with your investment strategy. You want to continue to diversify across account types, so making sure you have pre-tax, post-tax, and taxable in those different buckets. You want to think through, well, if I am increasing my income more and more over this time frame, maybe I want to think about adding some exposure to real estate, or maybe you want to add some exposure to some other areas. You can absolutely do that, or just continue with your investing plan. And you want to protect against lifestyle creep even more at this higher income level, especially as it increases over time. Now, if you're hitting your retirement goals, some lifestyle creep is healthy. But if you're not, you want to make sure that you are focusing and growing your income during this time frame. Now, during this marker, this is also a great time to make sure that you're continuing your education. Your financial education is one of the most important things that you are going to be doing. And as you start to see this money compound, you're going to realize I need more and more of a financial education as I get more advanced and down the line with my wealth. And so this is a good time to be thinking through that. So the next marker after $250,000 is probably, you guessed it, $500,000. Now, this is a real milestone. You have invested and saved $500,000. This is a big, big deal. And for some of you, if you bought a house during this time frame, you may be approaching $1 million net worth. But we are focusing on how much you have invested, because those are the real dollars that you can use when it comes to retirement and buying your financial freedom. And so the 500,000 marker is going to be a point in time where you're going to feel like, wow, I am halfway to $1 million portfolio. This is absolutely amazing that I have come this far. And it may feel like you've grinded, or it's been a slog during this time frame. Maybe it took you 20 years to get here, but that's okay, because once you get to this point in time, you're going to see how everything is going to continue to accelerate. Again, $500,000 with a 10% rate of return means that your portfolio could be earning $50,000 every single year. That is a solid salary from portfolio growth alone for a lot of folks. And so when you think about the rule of 72 and how long it takes for this money to double, if you got a 10% rate of return and this money doubles every 7.2 years, well, in 7.2 years, you can anticipate that you will have $1 million portfolio during this time frame. And so this is where you really want to think through, well, what do I want to do next? And can I accelerate this path? Because that is before you even add your contributions. Once you add your contributions in, your job at this stage is to stay invested and to keep contributing. The more you can contribute during this time frame, the faster you can accelerate your path to getting to that next milestone. So do not sabotage compounding by pulling money out for lifestyle expenses. I see way too many people saying to me, hey, can I take a 401k loan out? Or, hey, should I start to take some of the money out of my Roth IRA that I contributed? Or maybe I should use my taxable brokerage account for something else. No, do not interrupt compound interest unnecessarily. You will make a mistake if you start to think this way. You need to make sure that this money that you have invested, that is untouchable. In fact, it is 500 degrees, and if you touch it, your hand's going to burn off. I don't want you to think about touching that money ever, because once you start to interrupt compound interest unnecessarily, it becomes a habit and you feel like you can go back to the well and keep on dipping into that well. Never, ever, ever touch those dollars. Also, you really need to think about asset protection and start at least the estate planning basics. Having a will in place, power of attorney, those types of things are going to be very helpful as your wealth begins to grow. And also make sure you have all your beneficiary designations in place, going to the right people. A portfolio this size, and really any size portfolio, you want to make sure it's going to the right folks and the right people. And at this wealth level, tax strategy is going to become increasingly important, especially as your income begins to grow. If you are someone who could get this far, I assume from when you were at the 10,000 or milestone 1 all the way up to this marker at 500,000, that you have most likely grown your income over that time frame. And so because of this, and because you are someone who has focused your time and energy on growing your income, you want to make sure that tax strategy becomes a part of what you're thinking about. Now, if you're a W-2 earner, you may not yet need someone who is a tax strategist, but if you're investing in businesses or real estate, or you have all these different things going on and you feel as though your tax situation is becoming complicated, this could be a time where you move on to the next step and find a CPA. All right, so that is the 500,000 marker. We're going to jump into the next marker right after this break. So the third marker between these two milestones is going to be 750,000. Now at 750,000, this is where you're making some true progress. And the cool thing about this is the time frame between when it takes to get from 500 to 750 is really going to be a lot faster than you think, especially if you are increasing your contributions over time and all of a sudden you see that 750,000 is in reach. I really want you to focus on this. In fact, let's use our calculator to see how long it would take to go from 500,000 to $750,000. Because I think this is where a lot of people get surprised on how long it can actually take. So I'm going to pull this up and show you guys exactly how long this could take, okay? So let's say, for example, you're contributing $1,000 every single month, okay? And you're starting from zero, and you got a 10% annual rate of return. Well, to get to that first 500,000, it's going to take you 16 years and 6 months to get to that first 500,000. And as you can see, that's a marker here. But then once you get to the point in time where you're going to 750, it only is going to be 19 years and 11 months from zero to that 750. And so the cool part about this is to go from 500 to 750, it's going to take you 3 years and 5 months at $1,000 monthly contributions with a 10% rate of return. All of a sudden, your money begins to compound and it begins to accelerate. You're going to make $250,000 in 3 years by literally not doing anything. And that is why we want to get our dollars invested as fast as we possibly can. And why I love this tool so much, because you can go and play with the numbers and adjust the amount that you're investing and see how quickly this is going to happen. So maybe you get to the 750,000 level and you're saying to yourself, well, I want to figure out, how long it's going to take me to get to my first million. Let me use this calculator so I can tweak and see how long it's going to take me to get there. And maybe I want to contribute, an extra $1,000 a month over the course of the next 12 months so that I can get there even faster. Well, that's an amazing way to think about this, an amazing way to plan out your finances, which is why we want to give this to you so that you can utilize this going forward. Now, when you're at 750,000, this is going to feel like that home stretch. It's going to feel like you are so close to having $1 million portfolio. And again, our goal on this podcast is to create a millionaire. So I want every single one of you to get to this point. Every person that is listening, we want you to get to this point. The key, though, is not taking your foot off the gas. You may feel as though, wow, I made it. I am here now. Really, really excited to be here. But instead, what I want you to do is focus your time and energy on accelerating, getting to that first million. Why? Because at $750,000 at a 10% rate of return, your portfolio is going to generate $75,000 a year in returns. And that is more than median household income in the US. So once you get to this point in time, you have the ability for your portfolio to make more than the median household income in the US. So let's say you're married and you make some money. Maybe your spouse is working as well. They make some money. Well, now all of a sudden you went from 2 full-time incomes to 3 full-time incomes because your portfolio also has a day job and it's working its butt off for you. This is the power of compound interest and why we want you to get here. I don't want you to make any major lifestyle changes to increase your fixed expenses when you get to this point in time, if you can avoid it. Now, sure, you can take your foot off the gas a little bit once we cross that $1 million mark, but I want you to focus on getting to that $1 million mark so that we can reap the benefits of some of the compound interest that we are trying to focus on here. So this is marker number 3, is that $750,000. We want to make sure that we keep going. We want to make sure that we keep pushing.